Alright, what's up everyone? I'm Koloki, and welcome back to the Miami Dolphins franchise rebuild, episode 6. We are now moving on to the 2021 offseason, and after the Chargers lost the Super Bowl 55, 20-26, and then moved to Memphis and called themselves the Steamers, um, yeah, that's what happened. Now we are moving into the offseason. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I still think it's funny since the last episode. And really, it doesn't look like we're going to be making a lot of re-signings in this off-season period. I think any of these players that are trying to get re-signed, we can get them in the open market for cheaper. So we're going to move on to week 1 of free agency and see what we can do with some signings. We have $69 million worth of cap space. Very nice. And there's a chance that we can make some big moves, especially since we did so much better than I expected us to do last season. There's some moves that can be made for us to make a big difference on our team and try to be much more successful in the future. Alright, so here in the first week of free agency, I've made quite a bit of bids on multiple different players, and defensively, I would like to move to a 4-3 to try to get more pressure in the backfield. And one thing that I didn't even notice at the beginning of this episode or at the end of last episode was that Willie Henry actually got star dev trait just out of nowhere. He just ended up getting it. So really a very good thing to get. And our linebacker situation is set because I moved Raekwon McMillan from middle linebacker to left outside linebacker, and now we have all three of our linebackers basically set as starters. Both safety positions we need to look at. Cornerback would be a good thing to look at too, and then obviously defensive tackles and a right end just to shore up our defense. And that is what I have done. I've made a lot of bids in free agency, and now I'm going to show you my contract negotiations. So John Johnson, a 25-year-old with the superstar dev trait, he is looking very good. That'd be a good way to shore up one of our safety spots at least. David Njoku, he just looked like a decent option. No bids on him, so I went after him. He's 25 with a star dev. It'd be a good 1-2 punch with him and Mike Gesicki. McKinley, he's an 81 overall star dev trait at 25 years old. We didn't go too far above the Colts, so might not be able to get him, but 98 points, pretty decent. We were bringing back the defensive tackle from last season, and Andrew Billings, he's also 26 at a 77 overall, so both of these players would be same age, same overall. And Tedrick Thompson, 75 overall star dev, 26 years old. I mean, we're just going after some good young players that have some good dev traits. Holton Hill, 24 star dev. He has a lot of bids, but I have topped everyone. And then Taco Charlton, I mean, just as a backup left outside linebacker, because he was on our team before, so he didn't have any bids, and he's pretty cheap. So that's everyone that we've gone for in week 1. I'm going to sim to week 2, see if anyone signed, see if anyone declined, and see who's still available next week. Alright, so here in the second week of free agency, David Njoku actually accepted the defensive tackle from last year. McKinley accepted, Tedrick Thompson, and John Johnson III accepted. However, Holton Hill rejected, so that's disappointing to see. That would have been a great addition to our cornerback depth. But there's really no one else in free agency that I'm looking for except for the people that I still have offers on. I'm just hoping that they'll accept. But really now it is into the scouting, and to see the draft combines for everyone would be very nice. And there's a very good cornerback at the top of this draft class, and that would be very nice to get to add to our cornerback depth. But obviously, we don't have anywhere near the top pick in the draft. We actually have pick 11 and pick 24. So, I mean, we have 2 first-round picks. We could end up doing something with that pick 11 because there are a lot of good defensive talents in this draft. So, yeah, I'm going to continue to scout. If I find anyone interesting that could be a possible pickup for us, I will let you know. Alright, so here in scouting the draft, I've scouted quite a bit. I still have a lot of points left, but if we look at the defensive tackle, Dudley Hardy, he was actually number 23 on the overall board, and he's a early first-round talent. He's 21. He was number 1 in the bench press, and his top skills look very good, so that could be a possible pickup for us. Cedric Black, he's higher in the projection, but he also has some good top skills, but he's much weaker on the bench press, so good defensive tackle options. Some right ends, there's some good options. Left ends, so there's also good options, and offensive linemen, there's some pretty decent options throughout this. And yeah, really, we don't need much except for offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and maybe even some cornerbacks. But we did get our safety situation locked up. Our linebackers are good. Our wide receivers are good. Our running back and our quarterback are good. So really, it's just offensive linemen and quarterbacks. Yeah, so maybe Gabriel Walton, he could be a good pickup in the second round. He is a late second projection, so he'll probably go right around middle second round. So maybe that first second round pick that we have, or maybe even the second round pick, could be an option. But now I'm just going to continue scouting and find some players to take with our later round picks because we have a lot of fourth and fifth round picks somehow. I don't remember how. I think maybe because I traded out of the third round last draft, but I think that's all I did. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to continue to go to free agency week 3. I'll see if the defensive tackle and Taco Charlton end up signing with us. And then I'll probably just get onto the draft because not many more free agency signings need to be made. Alright, so here after week 2, no one has actually signed with us, but we do have a 5th-year option, and Josh Rosen's contract is set to expire, and we are not picking him up. We have our starting quarterback for the future, and Josh Rosen isn't going to even be our backup, so I'm not worried about that whatsoever. But yeah, I'm going to make sure that we end up getting at least some defensive tackle just in case we don't get someone in the draft. But other than that, I'll probably just see you in the draft, and yeah, I'll see you there. Alright, so here in the free agency recap, Trent Williams went to the Raiders. Just like in real life, Austin Hooper went to the Browns. Shaq Barrett went to the Colts. Keanu Neal went to the Broncos. Calais Campbell went to the Colts. And Gerald Everett, he went to the Broncos as well. Dante Fowler went to the new Steamers, the Chargers. Carl Lawson went back to the Bills. I believe he went back. I don't know. I think he was on there before. Sidney Jones went to the Bills. And if we look at, I want to find our cornerback that we lost, Holton Hill. I want to see where he went. He went to the Raiders on a 102-point bid. I think ours was 101, so I guess it makes sense. But only a 3-year deal that they gave him. I gave him a 5, but I mean he can take his 3-year deal. But yeah, now it is into the draft, and I will see you there. Alright, so here in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Bengals are once again the #1 pick, and really we're just hoping that defensive tackles aren't taken because we ended up not getting the defensive tackle that we wanted, the second one, but we picked up a 71 overall, I believe. So if we can get Dudley Hardy, that would be very nice, but we just got to hope within the 10 picks before us that no one picks up a defensive tackle. And Callaway, the top corner in the draft, is taken by the Bengals. He's a 76 overall. Lester Clark, the middle linebacker, was taken second, 75 overall, not bad. Probably both of them have hidden dev traits. Chris Barker, 75 overall tight end. Good picks. Left tackle Connor Williamson was just taken by the Raiders. The Jaguars now are going to take free safety Kendall Marsh and a 78 overall, a very nice pickup. And 6th pick, right end Eddie Rutland was taken by the Eagles. Still no defensive tackles have gone off the board. Jaden Roberts, left end, has been taken by the Falcons. Now there are 3 picks before ours and 2 defensive tackles. So as long as neither of them are taken, or at least one of them is available, Jermichael Tanner goes. Strong safety Rod Leonard, a bad pickup by the Redskins, but what are you going to do? So now we are basically guaranteed to get one of the defensive tackles that we do want. And now the Jacksonville Jaguars, they take Cedric Black, so now our hand is forced. And we are going to be taking, like I said when we were looking at it before, we are going to be taking Dudley Hardy. He's very strong. He had a 7.1 combine grade. He's an early first-round talent, and he's 21, run stopper. He'll be a very good pickup for our new 4-3 scheme. And a 77 overall hidden development, #4 in true talent. He is very good, 91 strength, a very well-rounded skill set. So he looks like a very good pickup for this first round 11th pick. Now I will see you at pick 24, I believe. Alright, so here at pick 24 in the first round, we're going to be taking Josh Williamson. There's a good center here, CJ Banks. He's a mid-round talent. He's 23. Josh Williamson is 22. And yeah, we're going to be taking Josh Williamson. If CJ Banks is there in our first pick of the second round, we will take him. But Josh Williamson just seems like the better pick as of right now. So that is who we're going to go with. And hopefully he'll be a good addition to our offensive line, who gave up a lot of sacks last season. And a 75 overall, pretty low in strength, only 84, but some well-rounded blocking stats. He's good pass blocker, good run blocker. So decent pickup. All right, so one pick before our second round pick, CJ Banks was taken. He was also a 75 overall, and he is a center. And centers don't really have high overalls in this game, so pretty disappointing to see that he was taken one pick before us. But maybe there was a strong safety that I wanted. He is also gone, so this is not looking great. So Gabriel Walton, he looks like he's going to be the pick. His draft combine was a little bit underwhelming, but we do need cornerback. We need some depth at that position, so a decent late first round talent there will be a good addition. He is 23, so he's relatively old when it comes to drafting players, so I mean, might be a bad pick, but he'll probably end up being like a 70 overall, so that is who our pickup is going to be. So decent, 70 overall, like I said. Horrific zone coverage, 74 man, 90 speed, so not horrible, just definitely a backup caliber player. All right, so here at our second round pick, pick 24, we're going to be trading this away because there's some good talent, but it's really talent that should be picked up later in the draft, like some later round offensive linemen and some decent wide receivers, some just random players. So we're going to be trading out of this second round pick and moving on to the second round of next year. Baltimore will be a really good team, but they are actually giving us the best option when it comes to trade opportunities. But I think we're just going to take that Baltimore pick. It might end up being a late second round pick, but that could still be pretty decent next year. So that is what we're going to take, a second and a fifth for just our second rounder this year, which doesn't really have much value in my opinion. So that is what we will be doing, and I will move on to our third round pick. All right, so here in the third round with pick 24, we're going to be taking Camille Leary. He's an early second round talent. He's 23. He's a pass protector. And yeah, like I said, we're just going to continue to take offensive linemen and just decent late round options. So hopefully he'll be a relatively decent pickup. And he's a 69 overall. That's some good backup talent. And I mean, he has a relatively workable skill set and he has some decent strength. So not a bad pickup. All right, so here in the draft to recap, our first round pick, Dudley Hardy, pick 11, 77 overall, defensive tackle, hidden dev, very good pickup. Josh Williamson, good offensive line pickup. Gabriel Walton, good cornerback depth. And then we just, after that Camille Leary pick that you saw, we got a fullback. I don't know why I took him so early, but then we got a quarterback as our backup. And then we just got some defensive and offensive line depth. We traded away a couple picks that we didn't need, and really, it was a decent overall draft just for filling depth and filling positions of need, mostly on the defensive line and the offensive line, as you can see, but a good overall offseason. And now if we look at our team, it's filling out pretty well. We've got some pretty decent wide receivers. We got John Ross, we got Devontae Parker, we got Preston Williams, we got a decent offensive line now. We could have a better center, but really we're doing pretty decent when it comes to that. We have good tight ends. We got a pretty decent fullback now. We got a good quarterback, good running back. Defensively, now we have a pretty good defensive line. I'm actually going to move Hardy to our number 1 defensive tackle. So, I mean, overall, our defense got way better, and with our new scheme, hopefully we'll find more success next season on the defensive side of the field, but overall, our team is looking pretty good. It's a 78 overall, and we have an 81 defense, so our defense now looks like it is the strength of the team. And I'm just going to look at the overview of the entirety of the draft to see if there are any like really, really interesting pickups. And the top overall is Kendall Marsh, free safety. He was taken with the 5th pick. Eddie Rutland, Jaden Roberts, 2 defensive linemen, and then Cedric Black and Dudley Hardy are both 77, so both of those pickups would have been pretty good. If we go to the top speed, I saw a very good, not cornerback, there was a free safety that was strong safety, BJ Wiggum. He was just number 1 in everything in the draft combine, so he was a 75 overall. That's who I was going to take with my first second round pick, but he was gone, and the center that we were going to take was gone, but overall a decent off season. And yeah, I'm just going to end it off right there. I will see you in the next season where we get through the preseason and then do our season opener just like we did last season. So yeah, I'd like to thank you for watching. This is what the team looks like after the off season of 2021, so a pretty decent overall team. And yeah, I'd like to thank you for watching, and have a good day.